Hey, how's it going, folks? My name is Jerain. I'm from the MakerHub, and in this video I'm going to show you how to edit a very simple video using iMovies. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is to make sure that you have your 6 items. I have them in this folder. So there's the music file, then there's a few of the cuts that we're going to be using. And next, I want you to fire up iMovies. If you don't know where your iMovies is, you can always download it from the Mac store, the Mac App Store. If you already do have it and you don't know where it is, you can click on this here and type in IMOV, and there it is, pop up. Click enter, and there's iMovies. And then we're going to click create new. Now, you have 2 options. You have a movie, you have a trailer. A trailer is pretty useless. It's not going to be what we're going to want to use. It's very limited. So we're going to go with movie. All right, so what you should be seeing right now is a screen similar to this one. If you do not, you want to click on My Movies right here, My Movie, and then you should see something like this. So now what we can do is click on our files and drag them all inside of our media library. You can also drag them right here. You can see that there's a little bit of a preview. Let me drag this over. You can see there's a little bit of a preview of what those files are going to look like. You see right there, it kind of puts them on top. That's not what we're going to do because we're going to want to select them specifically. So drop them right in there. And now they're in this section here. So from here, we can start dragging files and dropping them right into place. So this was, of course, the very first one that we saw. Now, what's really cool about this is that we can actually click just the I. If you click on this, you can click I for in and O for out as you hover, and it'll only highlight a specific section. And say we only wanted the last 1 second of this clip. Instead of dragging the entire file, entire clip to our timeline, we could just grab that little 1.4 second clip, right? That's just a little something. And you could also do the same thing if you drag these like that. But we're not going to do that. We're going to take the whole thing. Drag it right over, and when it's over here on your, this is called your timeline. I hope I already mentioned that. Let me close that out. You can click play. Sorry, you can click spacebar. Spacebar is to play. Okay, so there was nothing different from that clip than in our actual video here, other than this the black bars, these here, right? So what we can do to replicate those is we can click on this file here, and we can go to one of these tools right here, crop, and we can pull out these right there, just like I'm doing. Usually you would do this to zoom in to a section, but I want to replicate this the black bars in this this video. So I'm going to do the opposite of that, not zoom in, but zoom out. I'm just gonna zoom out all the way. Cool. So now when we play it, it looks like this, right? Very similar to this. Okay. So the next thing that happens is a title card. So if we click over here on titles, we're gonna see a bunch of different title cards, right? We can pick the one that looks the closest to the one from the original video. So it was this one here. It's not going to be the exact same because these are the only ones that iMovies gives us. Again, it's a pretty limited software, but it works, right? So if you hover over, you can actually see what this title card does. So if we hover over just slightly, there it is. There's that one's kind of cool. Which one looks interesting enough that we could add to our project here? I'm just going to grab the basic one, just the text slide. You can pick whichever one you want. If you're doing this on your own, you can do whatever you want. So I'm gonna grab this one and throw it in there. Now to edit this, all you have to do is double click on the text area and just start typing. So what this one had is Lucy can ... but can Ruby. So let's see. Maybe we can find one that actually does separate a vertical drift. Hey, maybe that's kind of neat. All right, so let's grab that one instead of this one. I'm gonna grab this. So this is going to be Lucy can ... but can Ruby ? Question mark? Or is it question mark or ... I want to get this right. ... Yeah, but can Ruby. Okay, cool. So now let's take a look at what this looks like if we just play it. Okay, you know, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. All right, so that's how we do that. Now I'm gonna go back to my media right here, and I'm gonna select all of the clips that are in the video in the same order that we see them. So the next thing that we see after this title card is this cat on a Roomba type thing. The next thing that we see is the cats in the box. You can just drag those right there. Oh, by the way, see, instead of having to do this consistently, like grab this slider and go back and forth, we can actually pick this right here and we can make this smaller where it says settings, next to where it says settings. So we can change the size of our timeline so that we could see more or less of it. So it's very useful. The next thing we're going to do is grab one of these. Now, I think this is the one. Yeah, the one that the cat falls slowly. That's the one there. And then after that, we have another title card. Is that title card anything like this one? Okay, that one's just a still. So you know what? For that still title card, we can grab... why don't we grab this one right here? So I'm just going to grab this one right here and drop it there. It's a little bit of color, so, you know, a little fun. And then what we can do is... Well, we'll change the text in just a moment. Go back to my media and grab the very last clip, which is the one where the cat falls really quickly. Here it is. Boop, it drops. By the way, if it's not obvious, all I'm doing is hovering over things, and you're going to be able to see it on this preview screen. So even over here, hover over slightly. And again, that works with our transitions. Our titles. So you just hover over everything, and it'll preview it right there. All right, so now that we have all of the things from the movie onto our timeline, let's start editing this a little bit. Before we throw in music, we're gonna throw in music a little bit later. The first thing that happens is this cuts. I think there's a fade to black, right? Yep, fade to black. So what we're gonna do is gonna find a transition, and we're gonna click on fade to black. We're gonna click it and we're gonna drag it from here, and check this out. Drop it right in the middle. So now let's preview that. Whoop. Fades to black. But can Lucy? I mean, can Ruby? All right, and then it prompts this video. Okay, that goes into a dissolve. It's a little wonky dissolve because it's all colorful there, but it's a dissolve. And then the next one is another cross dissolve, and that's it for and a fade to black. Yeah. So what we have here is a cross dissolve. So we're gonna grab that. Throw that one right in here, in between. Grab this one. Throw that one right in between. And then it's a, what was it, a fade to black? Yeah. And then there is no dissolve. It just goes instantly to this, and then it cuts. So those are all the transitions that are in this video. If you're following along, we just grabbed them from the transition section, dropped them in between the different video clips, and that's it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the other effects that are on this video, particularly time remapping. So if I click on this one, remember it goes kind of regular speed, right? But look at the video that we're trying to replicate. Let me just mute that. Okay. If you look at the video that we're trying to replicate, look, that's slow motion. That's a lot slower than this video. Well, not a lot slower, but it's still a little slower. So what we can do, and I'm sure you're probably going to want to do this in a lot of your own videos because slow motion is kind of cool, is to click on the clip and then go over to this icon right here. And what this will do is enable the time remapping settings. So what we can do is click speed, slow, and that's kind of it. And then if you want to change how much time, I guess, it takes for this slow motion to happen, you can click on this little icon right here, this little circle, and then this will make it super slow. Like, look how slow that is. Because what it did is it made this slow motion effect 14 seconds long. But if we don't want it that slow, well, let's put it to 2 seconds. And that's it. So let's go for about 3. Let's see, how about there? Yeah, that seems to be a lot like this one. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty accurate. So there we go. So we're a little bit closer to the finish line, and then there's that cross dissolve. That cross dissolve is just a little too takes too much time. The original video is a lot quicker. So what we can do, so all I did here was double click it, and then I can go to change that. So let's say 0.3 seconds. Apply. We're going to see a real fast cross dissolve. That was a lot faster than the original one. And this is the original one. You see the difference there? So we're going to do the same thing, or, you know, when I double click it, it's 3 seconds. I can just click apply to all, and it just applied that cross dissolve to all of these clips. Now the next thing that I want to do is go over to this title card and edit the text, of course, because you don't want it to say title text here. You want it to say, okay, maybe not Ruby, but you can. So, okay. Okay, and now I can double click this, or just click it, and then go over here to font and change the font if I so desire. So I do so desire, so I'm going to change the font to this one right here. A little bit more friendly in my opinion. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. If you want to change the font size, we can do it right here. Make it super tiny, medium, a little larger. I'm gonna leave it just like that because I think that looks okay. Interestingly enough, this video is 31 seconds, which is perfect because that's exactly how long this video is. So that looks like it's a really good thing. And the last thing that I want to do is throw in audio. So there's a song in here. Actually, you don't want to go into audio because this is only going to be your music library. If you have music on your iTunes, what we want to do is media and then the file that we dragged in. So we grab this clip, drop it right wherever. We're going to trim it in a second. So if I drop it here, look what happens. Yeah, that's not where it starts. It's not where it's supposed to start. It's supposed to start right over here after this little crossfade. Was it a crossfade or a fade to black? Yeah, it was a fade to black. So let's see that. Yep. Yep. Let's see. And then the music cuts right there. So, you know, we can do a couple things to cut the music. You see it's a really long clip. Now, we can either click this audio track, and hold down Command B for blade. And wherever the playhead is, you can just drop it right there. It's orange right here. I'm going to hold down Command and then B. I have to actually select that track. Then hold down Command B, and then which stands for blade. And then look, it snipped it. So I can actually click on that, click delete, and then it ends at the right time. Just like that. Now, if for some reason that's not working for you, what you can also do is go to the end of your audio track and just take it and drag it all the way to wherever you want it. That's probably the preferred method for a lot of you. You can also do that, of course, with any video. Obviously, the video's only so long here, but if we want it shorter, we could just make it shorter by dragging it. Let me undo that. Okay, so we actually have a finished product here, but let's look at a couple of other things, right, before we wrap up here. What if you want to copy a video, a clip, multiple times? Command and paste also works on here, so you can click Command V, and now we have this over and over. If you like seeing cats fall, you know, you can do that all day long. You can manipulate these in any way you want. You can change a little bit of the speed. So if we click on that one, we click, you know, fast, really quickly, you know, it falls. So there's a lot of things that I encourage for you to explore up here. One thing that I failed to mention is that you don't have to save with iMovies. iMovies automatically saves everything. You just got to export. So it automatically saves all your stuff. Actually, I should talk about color grading before we move forward. So, because color grading is important, and it's something that a lot of you are going to want to know how to do. It sounds a little scarier than it is. It's just changing a little bit of the color on the clip. So right here, we can see that this video looks really warm. It looks very yellowish. So we can click on this here, and we can start changing the saturation of that clip. Saturation means how much color is in it. No color, yes color. So if you want a really dramatic clip here, right? You can make it black and white, or you can change the temperature of it, which is this. So you can make it really blue or really orange. You know, it's a good candidate for changing the temperature is this, this clip right here. I mean, look, it looks pretty warm, but if we change it to a little bit bluer, you know, we'll look at it again, and that looks a little bit more natural, but look at this. If I put it back to how it was, now it's like, whoa, you're right, that was pretty yellow looking. So you know, I encourage you to play around with these settings, and certainly the white balance. Typically, you won't have to play with this. It's a little bit more quote unquote advanced. And so is the stabilization feature. If you're walking and talking for a blog and the camera's really shaky, this is what's going to help you stabilize your video a little bit. However, it's not, what it does is it crops inside of the picture a little bit and tries to match it with technology. So it can get a little wonky if you don't know, if you have really shaky video. So, but still, I encourage you to experiment with that stuff. I think that's kind of it. I mean, this was really a way to show you how you can take some clips, put them together, throw a transition, some music in the background, and then maybe change a little bit of the speed of the clip. And again, this is iMovie, so it's very basic. It's not gonna be so over the top like Premiere Pro. It's it's just pretty basic stuff. But for what most of you guys need, it's gonna be just good, just fine. Okay, so that's all for this video. So now we're going to export the video. So we're going to click share, and you're not going to click on any of these. What you're going to do is you're just going to click on export file, and that should allow you to put the video like as an actual file, so you can actually export it wherever you need to. So there's a few options here. Now, resolution is dependent on what camera you use to take the video. So if you use a 4K video, it's going to be like 4K or 1080. The quality is about how good looking, how grainy the video is going to be. Obviously, high is pretty good, best is good, but it's going to make a much larger file. And remember, we talked about file management earlier. So this is not 294.3, 290. That's quite a bit. But you could make it pretty low also and save a whole lot of memory. And actually, for this instance, I'm going to do that, but I don't suggest all of you do that. I'm just going to change it to medium just to make a 32 megabyte file. So let's go ahead and click next. Okay, so what shall we name this movie? My Cat Video. I'm just going to call it My Cat Video, save it to the desktop. Now, you see these two files? Ignore them. They're going to merge into one file in just a second. So do not try to delete one of these. There you go. So it just took those two and merged them together. So let's take a look at My Cat Video. I'll click spacebar and preview it. Okay. Great. And again, just for reference, this is the original. It's pretty much the exact same thing. I'm just going to speed right through because we already know what this looks like. It's pretty much the same thing. So there you go. We exported this video, and that's all it takes. Now, one other note, if you close this, all your data is still going to be there, so you don't have to worry about anything. And if I leave this project, I can name it Cat Video, click OK, and then Cat Video is right here. And if I quit this for any reason and I want to go back to iMovies, Cat Video will be right there waiting for us. And if we double click it, it'll be there with all the files. So we can still play around with this and re-export. And as a matter of fact, you might want to, because often it's the case that you finish your video, you export it, and then you're previewing it, you're watching it, and then you're like, oh no, I messed something up, or a typo. Do I have any typos? Maybe, maybe not. But if you have any typos, that might be really bad. And you're like, well, what do I do now? Well, no big deal. You can just go back to your projects like we just did. Click it, open it up, fix your typo, and then go back to share and export the file. All right, that's it. That's how to use iMovies and make a quick little video. I hope this helps. Thanks.